Okay, I'm gonna get myself comfortable here because we're gonna have a little chat. Now I'm just gonna check that I haven't got any chia seeds in my teeth because I've just had, oh my god, there is definitely a chia seed in my teeth. Let's get that out. I think we're good to go. So I have been talking about making this video with obviously people in my circle for a very, very long time. I've been working up to this and I can't kind of put it off any longer. I'm going to be talking about a subject that a lot of people are told to ignore. I know I have been told to ignore this subject more times than I probably had hot dinners. And in all honesty, I'm not going to kind of be quiet on the subject. It's also kind of inspired by the changes with social media at the moment. Obviously, we've all seen that Twitter has been censoring tweets and removing them. I'm sure there's a way that you can kind of turn off that being done in settings. Not that I would ever go and look for it because I welcome it 110%. Instagram has just announced that they will be giving users the opportunity to rethink their comment before they post it, just to make sure that they're making the right decision by posting it. And I also noticed last night, whilst watching Eugenia Cooney and Shane Dawson's video, that YouTube has now put a little box at the top of the comments section, basically reminding you to be kind and check out the community guidelines, and that's all there as well. So steps are being made to protect users a little bit more. We're still a long way off, don't get me wrong. Like, this is such a small step, but I think that platforms acknowledging the fact that their platforms have been abused by a lot of their users, and they've been abused in a way for people to use it to abuse other people. It's such a huge acknowledgement, and I know that for someone that has experienced quite a lot, that gave me a little bit of, I don't know, peace of mind. You're acknowledging that there's a problem, and that really means something to me. Obviously, when I was watching Eugenia Cooney's video, the one that she then put up after Shane Dawson's, I saw a girl who clearly had taken a huge battering by the internet, and I'm sure that hers is on another level. You could see she was sat there and she was like, please be nice to me, just please, just for once, just be nice to me. She just kept repeating the fact that she wanted people to be nice to her and she wanted people to stop being horrible to her. This video is more about tips that I can give people for coping with dealing with online hate that maybe they're struggling with, because I have noticed that over the past few months I've received a lot of messages from my fellow creators and seen a lot of tweets of people that are struggling, and I just slide straight into their DMs because I know the what's the word, the comfort that it brought me when two girls particularly slid into my DMs to be like, you've got this, it's fine. If you see anyone online saying that they are struggling with, you know, the negativity online, message them, speak to them, be there for them, because that's the biggest thing that I think that you can do for a person. This video is basically continuing from a conversation that I had with a lovely lady who I follow online. I'm not going to name any names, but she is a homeware Instagrammer. It's not even really her main job, and she just found that one day all of a sudden there were these anonymous accounts popping up and they were sending her really unkind messages. And I wrote her a message and I instantly saw how that affected her, so I wanted to put what I wrote in that message into a video so that should anyone find themselves in a situation where they are struggling with the messages and opinions of others, that they can watch this video and they can remember and they can remind themselves of what is actually going on, because you have to break down the situation to understand it, and it makes it all a little bit easier to deal with. I want to start by defining what online hatred is, online negativity, and I think that that is something that I've often was one of the things that really confused me on my channel. It's, first of all, it's not for anyone else to define what is online hatred to you. If you are receiving messages that make you feel unhappy, that make you feel sad, that hurt you and that upset you, that's your definition of online hatred. Online hatred does not have to include swear words or calling someone names. That was another thing that I really struggled with, the old system for reporting comments, because if I was to say to you, by the way, Sandra, I love your content, I've followed you for 4 years, but I just wanted to let you know that actually your front tooth is really wonky and it kind of makes me feel a little bit sick and I might actually throw up in my mouth. I didn't use a single swear word there, and yet that is such an unkind thing to say to a person, but that would not be flagged by one of the automated systems because there wasn't, you know, C words and F words and God knows what else in there. What I want to tell you first off is that if messages are making you feel unhappy and sad and are giving you that sort of ache in your chest, like, oh my God, why is someone saying this to me? Then that is your definition of online hatred. Nobody else gets to tell you what that is. If there's someone saying, this is my opinion, if your opinion is nasty and makes someone feel upset, then you could have shared your opinion in a better way. Constructive criticism is not something that should make someone feel unhappy. If I was to say to you, Sandra, we love Sandra, Sandra, I love your channel. There's only one thing that I would like to let you know is that the sound on your video is a little bit off, and it would be great if you could maybe look into getting a microphone or something, because that would really make my viewing of your videos so much better. That's constructive criticism. Constructive criticism does not include someone's looks, it does not include someone's person and who they are and everything about them. You can't constructively criticize someone on their personality. This isn't for you to tell someone who they should be. This is just someone online sharing a part of their life with the internet. And if you feel like you need to negatively comment on that, take yourself away. Just take yourself away and leave that person be and let them be in their happy place. I'm sure that person has a great set of parents around them, or a great set of friends, or a great husband or boyfriend or partner or whatever, that will let them know if there's something that maybe, you know, they could work on about themselves. However, that person might be in therapy already working on that aspect of themselves. You don't need to be that person, and you also don't need to accept that from another person. Now that we have the definition of what online hatred is, and it's whatever makes you feel uncomfortable and makes you feel sad, you have the right to protect yourself. There was a lot of messages that I would receive like, oh, anyone shares their opinion and Lydia blocks them. I have a trigger finger. Like, if someone says anything that could potentially make me feel a certain type of way, block. Like, it's like that. If I see that you have liked an unkind comment, because it's me behind here, okay? There's no one filtering my comments. I know that I would feel too distant from you all if there was someone filtering my comments, and so it's still me behind here. And if I see that you have liked a nasty comment about me, and I receive emails and I receive messages like, this person loves you and they just can't seem to access your profile at the moment, then you did something. Okay, I'm not about to be around the bush here. You might have thought I didn't see it or wouldn't see it, and I can't see it all, but block. And I would urge anyone that feels and sees anything like that to use their block button, overuse it. Protect yourself. You have the complete and utter ability to protect your positive space, and don't you dare let anybody intrude on that and affect you in any type of way, because they don't have that right. You use your block button and you use it as much as you want. Wow, I'm getting quite heated in this, you know. I'm passionate about this. And I'd probably say that this is the final point on this. There might be more. I would like people to stop telling people to ignore online negativity, because I was told to ignore it, and I was told to rise above it. And I know what it's like when you see someone and you are like, oh my gosh, they are so lovely and so wonderful. I cannot understand why they would ever even listen to these messages. But I think when you're receiving 1 or 2, you know, every so often in like a year, it's probably a little bit easier to just kind of brush it off. But when these messages are coming hourly on multiple platforms, they're coming into your direct messages, people are sending you screen grabs, they are following you about every single time that you post some content. It might just be one person doing it. It could be 10 or 15 people that have decided to band together and do it. We need to stop telling people to ignore it. I think that that's a really problematic thing to do. I'm not sitting here and telling you to ignore what that person has just said about you and your person and anything about the way that you look. I'm never ever going to tell anyone to ignore it. Acknowledge it. If you've read it, acknowledge it. But take the time to break it down and understand what is being said and who it's being said by. I think if anyone is watching this and they've experienced this, the biggest thing that probably hurts them in their chest is the fact that they would never in a million years ever do this to a person. They would never even come close to sending an unkind message to someone, an unkind comment, or saying anything under someone else's content that isn't like positive. Most of us, if we don't like something, we will be like, okay, and it's gone. The words, you know, if someone says to me, Lydia, you need to get your teeth fixed, that doesn't really hurt me when I see it. I'm like, really? Like, okay, why would you send that? And that's my first thought, is why would you send that? And that's what upsets me. It's the intention and the malice and the person sat behind there thinking, I'm gonna tell her that her teeth are shit. So let's understand what that is, and let's understand why a person would do that, because most of us would never do that. And that is because most of us are, to a certain degree, happy, content, fulfilled people. And we don't spend a lot of our time focusing on what other people have and what other people are doing. And we're generally quite, you know, wow, we might have an amazing family, we might have a really great husband and 2 cats, and that might be enough for us. A lot of people don't look at life like that. A lot of people will have a lovely husband and 2 cats, but still think, that person's got that. She doesn't even have to work half as hard as I do. There's a lot of people that don't work as hard as I do and get more than me, but I don't care. And I think that that is where this all comes from, is how you view your life. I view my life as like every day I wake up and I'm like, whoo, another day, another day. Wow, lucky me, I've got another day. Anything else that happens after that is brilliant. Like, wow, okay, so you're telling me I get to go and have like lunch with my friends today? Oh, the joy! Wow, I am blessed, because so many people don't get those opportunities. If you're someone that looks at life and they're like, well, another day of not having what I want out of life, and not having, you know, the Ferrari on the drive, and not having the Balenciaga handbag that I want, and hating my life. If that's your view every day that you wake up, you're probably not the happiest of persons or peoples or whatever. You're probably not very good at English either. And that's where I think the difference comes from. A lot of these people that are looking at what people are doing online are viewing their lives in a very different way that we view our lives. And they're looking at you and they're thinking, why does she get to have that? You know, sometimes I look at Angelina Jolie and I'm like, why does she get a private jet and I don't? And I'm like, oh yeah, she's Angelina Jolie. I think to myself, oh, that's because, you know, you're not an Oscar-winning actress and you don't charge 2 million a film, so that would be why, Lydia. And it will make sense. Perhaps if I really wanted to be an Oscar-winning actress, if I'd ever gone to acting classes or even done GCSE drama, I could have been Lydia Millen, Oscar-winning actress with a private jet and all of that stuff. But I'm not. That's what I chose to do with my life. And if I really, you know, feel that strongly about it, I'm gonna go and chase my dreams, and I'm gonna try and make it happen, because if I don't try, it's never gonna happen. This is such a long-winded roundabout talking of this, but you are the person that went out and got what you wanted. You still might not have everything that you want in life, but you still look at your life and you're happy. A lot of these people that are writing these things and sending these messages and saying these nasty things about people online don't look at their life like that. They could have a wonderful life, but they're not looking at it like that. Well, she's got this and I don't have that. Well, she's got this and I don't have that. She doesn't deserve that. She's not worked hard enough for that. When really, you should be focusing that energy on the inside and making the changes that you want to achieve the things that you want. So when you sit down and you try to understand who that person must be behind the computer that is writing that, you don't have to ignore those messages, but when you sit back and you understand and you think about where that person must be, why they've sent that message, because you know you'll never send a message like that because you're happy and you love your life and you're really content with everything that's going on. You understand where that person must be, and it no longer is about you, it's about them. Every time that someone sends you a nasty message, it is not about you, it is about them. And that is the biggest thing that I can say to anyone is, when you read them, it'll initially feel a little bit like, oh, wow, low blow there, Sandra. Is Sandra a good, I can't remember if Sandra was the good guy. Sandra was the good, Sharon. Low blow there, Sharon. Then you think, God, Sharon must be in such a negative space right now, because I wouldn't ever send someone a message like that. I wouldn't even send Sharon a message back like that, despite how she's hurt me. So all you can do is understand, move away, and go back to living the life that you love. A big thing that I wanted to say, because obviously I knew I wasn't done, is when I'm talking about online hatred, I'm not talking about calling people out for terrible behavior. So like we've seen online, there have been some really rubbish things happen, like, you know, I don't even want to use examples of what's happened, but there have been some really terrible things done using the internet as a platform. If behavior is, you know, just downright awful, and someone is doing things that just show such a lack of respect for humanity, that's different. You might be able to tell that person, hey, what you're doing there, it's not great. I would probably suggest taking down what you've just done and going away and thinking about what got you to this point. If we were all a little bit kinder to each other, the real crap people on this earth would just rise to the surface, or maybe sink. Yeah, they'll probably sink and will rise to the surface. We're all a lot kinder to each other. We can understand each other a lot better. We can understand why people are doing the things they're doing and be a little bit more compassionate to people. I don't know what accent that was then. We don't need to call someone out for falling out with their best friend. We don't need to get involved in people with their best friendships. And when friendships break down, my God, I've had friendships break down on the internet, and it is like there has to be some huge drama about it. There just doesn't. Watching the internet tear people to shreds because they've fallen out is just not the kind of culture that I want to be a part of. And I hope that if you are at a point in your life where you're receiving something that makes you feel like someone has just kicked you in the chest, I hope this video helps, and I hope this video shows you that someone can literally hit rock bottom, because I've been there, and you don't have to accept what is happening on the internet to you. There are ways to cope with it, and there are ways to deal with situations so that you come out on top. One of the other points that I would like to touch on is being on the internet as a job. If you are on the internet as a job, especially in the UK, I feel like in America they're a lot better at this than we are in the UK, but if you're on the internet and it's your job and you're reading a lot of opinions about yourself on a day-to-day basis, I would probably say that the best favor that you can do yourself is to find yourself a really great therapist. Once a month or every 2 weeks, or depending how much you need it, just go and break down what has happened online in those few weeks. I mean, if you're coping, fine, you do you, but I am a very strong person, and I was crumbled by the stuff that I read about me on the internet. I was absolutely picked apart to the point where I didn't want to leave my house. I was convinced I was a disgusting person, and it took months and months and months of therapy to get me to a point where I'm now sat in front of a camera and I am saying all of the things that I wanted to say a few years ago or a year ago that I couldn't, because I was so incredibly frightened. Frightened for my life, frightened for my family's life, and no one should ever be made to feel like that. So I would really like it to become quite the norm. If it not, it might already be quite normal, maybe at a certain level, but people are becoming online creators and YouTubers and bloggers a lot now. You know, I know people that have 10, 20,000 followers and they're doing this full time, and that's brilliant. But if you're dealing with reading a lot of comments about yourself on a day-to-day basis, and it's something that you're a bit sort of like, oh, it's a bit of a trouble there, not doing great with that, get yourself a therapist. It's perfectly normal. It's not what you think it is. And actually, I really liked my therapist. She was great. She actually made me laugh, and it was something that I actually looked forward to, because it's really amazing having great people around you, and I feel very, very lucky to have such a grounded and normal, I mean, we're really not that normal, but normal group of friends that ensure that I keep my feet firmly on the ground at all times, help me break things down. It's also really good to have someone completely unbiased who lays the facts down for you and enables you to completely understand what is normal to accept, because we all forget that now that we have jobs on the internet, you know, Pauline from accounts isn't going to walk up to Mary in HR and say, Mary, I don't know whether you know this, but you do this really annoying thing with your mouth when you're talking, and it's like, it's driving me insane. I really think that you should possibly, you know, go and work somewhere else, or like go and do something else away from me, because it's horrible. And yeah, I don't think you know how horrible it is. That is not normal in any job ever, whether it's on the internet or whether it's, you know, in where are we? In the bank. Not normal for anyone to have to go through, and you don't have to go through it on the internet either. And I'm really looking forward to these changes that are happening on the internet at the moment. I'm not really talking about the removal of likes, because I'm still not quite sure what's going on with that and how that's going to affect everyone, and the motives behind it. But what I am talking about is the acknowledgement of platforms, that their platforms are being abused, and they are being abused to abuse people. Now, there will be people that will say freedom of speech, and there will be people that say this is like against my human rights to, you know, talk about people how I want. You can talk about someone however you like. That's the long and short of it. You can talk about someone however you want in your WhatsApp group. That's what it's there for. If you want to talk about whoever, I can't think of any more names, but if you want to talk about someone in a really not very nice way, that is why you have WhatsApp. Okay? You don't have to write it on the internet. The world doesn't need to know that you think that so-and-so is a disgusting human being, or her breath smells, or her teeth are wonky, or one of her eyes is smaller than the other. The world doesn't need to know that. The world doesn't need to know that you think that someone is a narcissist. Great. Doesn't need to happen on the internet. That can happen in your WhatsApp group. Or, this is the thing, you've got spaces on the internet where you can do this. Everybody knows, or most people know, that there are places on the internet where people can go and discuss how much they hate someone. They're there, and they're for you if you have those negative thoughts. Use them. Don't use my comment section, because that's for me, and that's why you're going to get your comment deleted. That's why you've got your platform, and that is why I have my channel. And I want my comment section to be a rainbow of positivity about how much fun you had watching my video. Creating content online, it's changing. We're not supposed to accept this stuff anymore. Gone are the days when people would be like, you know, get off the internet, get off. If you can't handle it, get off. We can't. Everything is ran off the internet now. Everything happens online. I do my shopping online. My phone is online. My house is online. Everything is online. Now we're getting to the point where the people that have abused the platforms they've done what humans always do. They've spoilt it for everyone else. And so now, slowly, online platforms are changing and acknowledging and adapting to protect the people that are using their platforms. And I, for one, am here for it. If you know someone that is struggling online, if you know someone that is struggling with anything happening online, please just send them this video, because I really hope that it can help them. And even if you know, I want to say, if you are struggling online, you know, slide into my DMs, because a lot of people do that, and I try and help as many people as I can. I'm scared to, because I know how big this problem is, and I'm scared about how many people will be in my direct messages. But just know that I get how you feel, and hopefully at least some of the points in this will have helped you in dealing with whatever is happening to you online, and however you're dealing with it. And if you are a person that is writing any nasty comments under people's pictures or videos, or if you think that you're writing constructive criticism when we all know that you're not, I hope that maybe this video makes you see a different side of things, and maybe makes you think twice. Anyway, thank you for watching my channel. I'm so glad I got this video done, and I will see you in my next video, which is a pretty powerful video. So I am looking forward to you seeing that one, and I'm looking forward to getting back to me. Here's to that.